Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome
Hare
for today.
Prabhuji.
Welcome to today evening's class. It's on Vaishnava etiquette, the final part. I believe everyone can see the PowerPoint presentation and the audio
Yes,
is in
Prabhuji.
proper order.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So, sadhana. Sadhana is, you can look at it as practices, and there are these 10 headings. Of course, what we're doing right now is knowledge, but most important is putting knowledge into practice, which brings about self-realization. So, dear devotees, keep that in mind, that knowledge, in absence of practical knowledge, absence of practicing that knowledge, putting it into practice, is kind of uh, incomplete. So, for example, you could be tasting something very nice, knowledge, but until and unless we don't swallow the food stuff, you're really not going to get any nutrients. So, always, whatever we learn, we should put it into practice. So, practical application of knowledge is called realization. So this is what sadhana is all about, the practices, so that we can have realization. Most important is self-realization. So there's these 10 items which the Vaishnava etiquette covers. We will try to cover all, but most important, japa. Actually, japa is the foundation on which everything rests. The entire bhakti yoga rests on japa. For especially this age, Kali Yuga, japa, it's the only way, the only way, the only way. We'll see as we progress. Hare Krishna. Bear with me a second, please. Hare Krishna. So here's a nice uh, quote from Srila Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam. The process of chanting is the best process of self-realization in this age. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya preached it so nicely for the benefit of all humanity. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is called the Maha Mantra. Mantra, everyone, to recap, mantra is a compound word made up of two words. It is man and tra. Man is the mind, tra is that which takes away. What does it take away from the mind? All the anxiety, fear, and all the negativity. That's what mantra is. And the Maha Mantra, the greatest mantra, Maha is the great, the greatest mantra is this um, Harinam, that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we spoke earlier about what is sadhana. We'll get knowledge about, what japa is all about, and then putting it into practice, you know. So the Maha Mantra, when we are chanting it, brings about self-realization. Hare Krishna. We all know what Mahamantra is. Can somebody please chant the Mahamantra?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Ram
Rama.
Ram Hare Hare.
Very good. Thank you. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Madhya Leela, there is this particular verse Harer Nam eva kevalam, kalau nasti eva gateranyataha. Can someone please read the translation?
In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way.
Correct.
Hare Krishna.
So there have been different processes for different time, place, circumstances, as they say, different strokes for different folks. It's not that one size fits all. So we have the four yugas, starting from the Satyug, the Treta Yug, the uh, Dwapar Yug, and the Kal Yug, correct? So across these four ages, four cycles, yuga is what they call, there are different processes. Now it starts from the Satyug, where people's capacity, capabilities is not yet degraded. And you could look at them as Superman and Superwoman, that kind of people, their consciousness. So there was a certain practice. Then as the time starts, as it gets, the time cycle begins, everything starts deteriorating. Krishna says, right, in Bhagavad Gita, time I am the destroyers of all the world. Time eventually in the material realm destroys everything, everything. So, our capacity, finally, we are in the Kal Yuga. It has shrunken so much, and actually, we are in the golden year of Kal Yuga. Kal Yuga started about 5,000 years ago after Sri Krishna departed. So it's just 5,000. We are in the, how do you say, we are the infancy stage. Kal Yuga is in its infancy stage, and the golden years of Kal Yuga will be 10,000 years. And after 10,000 years, it's going to be so degraded. And already we can see the symptoms, people's consciousness, the environment, everything. There is a big mess up with the ecology outside and the ecology inside, quarrel and hypocrisy. So then what is the method of self-realization? That method of self-realization is Hare Nam. That Hare Nam, what it is? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So, can somebody please read this? We'll give somebody else a chance who hasn't read it before. Can you read the first one, the holy name? Somebody please read the first paragraph, the holy name of Krishna.
Yes.
Holy name of Hare Krishna. The holy name of Krishna is so attractive that anyone who chants it, including all living entities, moving and non-moving, and even Lord Krishna himself, becomes imbued with love of Krishna. This is the effect of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antilila 3.268.
Thank you, Prabhu. So that is what the name of Krishna is. So anyone, it doesn't matter, living, moving, non-moving, when we chant, even the insects, even the trees, they're non-moving creatures. Uh, everyone benefits just hearing the name of Krishna. It is so powerful, right? So what happens now? This has been prepared, gathered over the years on this topic of japa. So different Vaishnavas have spoken about this. So it is summarized as the process and effect. So first is it's in an awakening state. Right now, the material consciousness is like look at it like as though we are in a deep sleep or in a coma. Consciousness means being aware of. What we are aware of currently is only centered around I, me, myself, and mind, material consciousness. But we are the spirit soul. And the spirit soul is almost completely ignored 99.99% of the time. We have no understanding, no interest, no clue. And all we're doing is living on the bodily platform. And what we do is it's basically like a bird. You put a bird in the cage. Doesn't matter whether it's a dirty, rusted cage or it's a golden cage studded with diamond. That's what we're doing. We are just taking care of the external, the body. But the soul, which is like the bird, is starving over there. So what happens is when we do japa, it awakens that soul from its material slumber. The soul is always chit. Please understand, it's always conscious. But because identifying itself with the body, it's in this material slumber. We're only in this dream, material dream, I, me, myself, mine. Then what japa does, it also cuts all the material attachments. We are so attached to things. Attachment, I want this, that, my attachment to my bodily relations, attachment to the things, attachment to ideas, attachment, whatever it be, strong attachments we have. So japa cuts that. It is also considered as a cleansing agent. Lust, anger, greed, all the six enemies, takes that away. Japa is a direct process. There are so many processes that you have. You could either get to your self realization of understanding who you are, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the spirit soul, that is self realization. So, what you do is there are different processes. There's Dhyana Yoga, there is uh, the Bhakti Yoga, which is the highest platform. So, what Japa does is, all these are the different stages of self-realization, and it's pretty arduous, it's pretty difficult. And considering what our situation is in this Kali Yuga, that we are so contaminated, no discipline, uncontrolled mind. Now, what happens is there's an easy way out rather than climbing all these stories, flight of stairs to get to the topmost floor. Here you have an elevator. So japa is like the elevator. The moment we get involved with japa, it takes us directly up. It links, connects the soul to Krishna. Now, someone may say we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are never disjointed from Krishna. We always have that connection with Krishna, no matter what we do or we don't do. We are always connected with Krishna. But what is disconnected is our consciousness. That's why Prabhupada calls this the Krishna consciousness, being aware of Krishna. So that's what happens. And it starts building the pathways, the roadways to re-establish that relationship that we have with him. It is there, but all our material desires have, covered it and buried it deep within. So that's what japa does. And doesn't matter who you are. You could be an old man. You could be on the verge of death. You could be a young child. Doesn't matter. Whatever stage of life you are in, whatever is your status in life, you could be the biggest sinner, you could be the worst person, or you could be the most pious person. It doesn't matter. Whoever you are, whatever is your history, simply by chanting the Mahamantra, it will take care, it will bring you on the platform of perfection. It's very simple, but at the same time, it's very difficult. Anytime, any place, there's no restriction to chant Hare Krishna. Of course, doesn't mean that you could chant anyhow, anytime, any place. We recently covered this, right? That there was a pastime of Gopal Guru where one devotee would chant even in the toilet and he would hold his tongue, thinking this is so pure and holy, and I'm going, to defecate in a dirty place. How can I? Cleanliness is next to godliness. And the young kid Gopal, he told, don't you know, Mahamantra, there is no restriction. But doesn't mean you chant anyhow. Of course, there are certain processes which are called best practices, is so that we can chant properly. And it is most effective. It is tried and tested. And as they say, the proof of pudding lies in eating it. So simply start chanting, and then you will see the effect for yourself. Hare Krishna. Can somebody who hasn't read the first paragraph, please? There are three stages in chanting.
There are three stages in chanting the holy name of the
Hmm.
Lord. The first stage is the offensive chanting of the holy name, and the second is the reflective stage of chanting the holy name.
Mhm.
The third stage is the offenseless chanting of the holy name of the Lord.
Continue.
In the second stage only, the stage of reflection between the offensive and offenseless stages, one automatically attains the stage of emancipation. And in the offenseless stage, one actually enters into the kingdom of God, although physically he may apparently be within the material world. To attain the offenseless stage, one must be on guard in the following manner. Srila Prabhupada purport SB 2.2.30.
Correct. SB stands for Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Mataji. So we know there are these three stages of chanting. One is the offense. We're committing a lot of offenses. Actually, the holy name is considered to be more merciful than Krishna. Krishna is all perfection, correct? There is no fault or there is no limitation on his end. So he's the most merciful. In fact, in Islam, you have that, right? Bismillah, Rahman, Rahim. So most merciful. So how can something be more merciful than Krishna? That is the beauty. Krishna's name is more merciful than he is. And how the Vaishnavas have explained this is like if you need, say, for example, Krishna in his Murti form, if you need to take darshan of the Murti, you have to go to the temple or a place of worship or wherever in your house, or you need to go there. But Mahamantra comes to you. Mahamantra comes to associate with you. No matter, like, of course, there are certain procedures, for deity worship, things like that. You have to be bathed, cleanliness, things like that. There are rules and regulations. But Mahamantra doesn't matter where you are. So much so, even when you're in the toilet, and Mahamantra will come to you. So that's what it is. It is so easy. But right now, we are doing a lot of offenses. You read the offenses, 10 offenses against the holy name. One or more or all 10 is what definitely the inattention part. It is offense to be inattentive while chanting. So there is that offensive stage. But continuing chanting, you come to the stage of reflection. We become thoughtful. We become thoughtful. With that thoughtfulness, the concentration comes. And then gradually it comes to the offenseless. There's absolutely no offenses, pure chanting of the holy name. And actually, in this stage, Krishna comes and dances on the tongue. And we can actually be present up close and personal in the various leelas. All that is manifest before us. And uh, this is not just some sayings. There are Vaishnavas who have experienced this, and it is recorded history. And these are, how do you say, beacons. These are showing us the way of how to do chanting. And what manner must we be chanting in? Trinadapi Sunichena. Easier said than done. More humble than a blade of glass, more tolerant than a tree, respecting, giving respect to everybody, not desiring anything, no pratishtha for myself. In such a state, a person can chant. Look at it, how beautiful it is. Now, what does this mean? All of us are self centered, not Krishna centered, self centric we are, right? And that self centricity, our ego puts us up on this pedestal. And we want people to respect us. We want people to honor us, whatever be, either through position or through our knowledge or through wealth, fame, beauty, whatever it may be. That's what we are expecting, people to be honoring us and giving us respect. But once you get rid of that, that's when you can actually chant the name of Krishna. Till such time, it is a mixture. We are taking the holy name, right? But it is still offensive chanting. Now, here's what Prabhupada says. So, what do you do? On one end, you're committing aparadh. Prabhupada says, offensive chanting, never mind, continue chanting. Gradually, that offensive chanting will become pure. Hare Krishna. So, see how wonderful Mahamantras, how wonderful this process of japa is. Have you ever heard something which is negative? Continue doing it and it will become purified. Hare Krishna. Okay, so this is the Mahamantra. Everybody knows the Mahamantra, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this Yeah, someone has raised the hand. Lata Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji, but could I ask a question on the other side or slide, or should I wait until the end?
We can cover the question, Mataji. Let me go back. The previous slide.
Yes, Prabhuji. So this one, right? It mentions 3 stages, Prabhuji. I think I missed what was the second one, or I didn't understand it correctly.
It is called the reflective stage, where we are reflecting, where our concentration, attention is focused on the holy name. That's how we
Okay.
should be chanting. But currently, when we do japa, the mind is running here and there. So many thoughts are coming. Like the acharyas tell us, all you have to do is concentrate on listening to the sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's what we're supposed to do. Now, the intensity with which we are listening to the sound vibration, the attention, the pronunciation, all that we'll cover as we go ahead, Mataji. When we are reflecting on that, what is reflecting means you're remembering, you're going back. Like reflection, yeah, Heaven. You see your reflection in the mirror, correct? You're seeing your image in a mirror. So when all this attention, everything is coming, we are reflecting on hearing. So in this case, when we talk, the reflective stage is we're doing it with attention, lot of attention, focus, lot of attention, and that intensity. And the mind is, we are slowly controlling the mind. So there is the offensive stage where the mind is running everywhere. The reflective stage is where we are controlling the mind, bringing it under our control, and running here and there. You're focusing like a laser beam on listening to the sound vibration. And that will gradually take you to the inoffensive or the pure chanting of the holy name. Then doesn't matter, even if something falls, the building falls next to you, you won't even be realize, your consciousness will be fully absorbed in the sound vibration of the Mahamantra. In such a state, one gets the association, the personal association of Krishna and his Leelas.
Wow, that's so nice. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Namabhas is different than a reflective stage also, right? Namabhas is completely different.
Yeah. Namabhas is like an offensive. It's less offensive, let's put it that way. It's less offensive. So even in offensive stages, there are different stages. Like, how do you say, like when we commit a crime, there is a felony and there is a misdemeanor. Both are crimes, but there are gradations of crime. So Nam Abhas is we are taking the holy name, we are chanting the holy name, the vibration is there, but the consciousness is not attached to it. It is coming, and there are different examples which are given of Nam Abhas. There was this uh, Muslim gentleman. He had gone to pass too, and uh, he chanted. A boar is considered to be unclean, and the boar attacked him whilst he was passing stew, and he started shouting, "Haram, haram." And because that word Ram is there, that's the power of the holy name. He really didn't mean Lord Ramchandra, just the word Haram. And whilst the boar impaled him with its tusk, killed him, he was chanting the name of the Lord and he got delivered. So, one way to look at Nama Abhas Mataji is that um, it is a shadow of what the thing is. With a shadow, how do I say, uh, a human being? If you see a person's shadow on the street, you know the form somewhat. The form is there, but you don't know anything about his personality. Is he an African American? Is he, uh, you know, does he wear glasses or anything else? All the details you don't know. You just can see the form over there. So that way, it's like a shadow, the Nama Abhas. We're getting to that stage. So there is a lot of offensive chanting. Offensive chanting is like doing japa while watching TV. No attention. Lips are moving. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram Hare. Lips are moving. Tongue is vibrating. but the attention is on the TV program, or while driving, or doing japa while standing in the prasadam line. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And the attention is there, oh, the samosas are getting over. Attention is somewhere else. Attention is somewhere else. So there are these different gradations. So you come to the nama abhas is less offensive, but all the same it is offense. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, it starts japa with attention, then you have the pronunciation, the absorption. But actually, there's a mistake over here. It starts with the intention. So, Romapad Maharaj in his japa retreat, he holds these programs in a temple in the November time frame towards the ending of the year. Very nice. It's a japa workshop. All question answers, the philosophy, the basis, the science of the chanting. The Mahamantra is covered, what are the opportunities and challenges. So Maharaj says is, we chant mechanically. We chant mechanically with no feelings. So if we have a particular intention, why am I chanting? For whom am I chanting? How should I be chanting? So Maharaj says, before you sit for japa, spend a minute or two being thoughtful about all these things. Then there is meaning to it. And whatever there is meaning, anything which is meaningful doesn't become a ritual. It doesn't become mechanical. So first is that intention. When the intention follows with attention to the sound vibration, when I'm being attentive, then I'll be very careful with my pronunciation. And when I'm careful with my pronunciation, I get absorbed. Right now, there's no taste for the holy name because we are chanting. We think we are chanting, but we are saying something else altogether. And the best way to know this, Prabhu's Mataji, is record yourself chanting. When you sit down for japa on your phone, put the recorder. There are many recorder apps and see how it sounds. And is it Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is what we require: intention, attention, pronunciation, absorption. We'll get into a little bit more detail over here. So everything, it's the attitude. Your attitude can make you or it can break you. No matter what the external circumstances is, no matter what's in front of you, what you have left behind, aju baju by your side, doesn't matter. Attitude matters a lot. With the right attitude, we can make the right choices. Then what happens is this repetition. Have a right attitude, make the right choices, and keep repeating it. It will become a habit. Now, how can these four basic principles of success in whatever you do, whether it is your material pursuits or spiritual pursuits, how can this be put into practicing and improving japa, Hare Krishna? So, first is the intention, how the mind approaches japa. There are two major ways in which the mind approaches japa. One is as a compulsion. Oh, I've taken a vow, especially those who are initiated or those who have taken sankalpa, something, whether I'll chant 1 round or I'll chant, you've taken a vow, I'll chant 4 rounds, I'll chant 16 rounds, whatever be that case. So that becomes like a compulsion. Oh, I've made a promise, now I have to do it. Please understand the operative word is have. I have to do it. Correct? When I say I have to do it, then what happens? It's as though like an external pressure on us. Then there's a heavy heart, zero enthusiasm. I'm forced to do it and I grudgingly do it. It happens to us every Monday morning. Oh God, I have to go to work. I'd rather be sitting aram se in the warmth of my comforter. You get it? Getting up aram se, having a lazy morning breakfast, whatever it is. I'd rather be doing something else, but because it is important, it pays my bills and whatever, I have to do it. So that is what happens with compulsion. The other is the attitude. I look at it as an opportunity. I get to do it. Please understand, just see how the mind you could switch the same thing. Whatever seems to be burdensome and, oh God, I have to do it. Wow, I get to do it. Look at your job Monday morning. I get to go to work. There are so many people who are unemployed. Don't take your work for granted. Don't take japa for granted.
Thank you. Thank you.
There is somebody with a name called iPhone. Could you please mute yourself?
Yeah, I think they did it. Did it. Prabhuji
Thank
did.
you. Thank you. So, just a simple switch from I have to do it or I get to do it. And how will we make that switch that I get to do it is if we understand why we are doing it. So, as an opportunity, I get to do it. And when we have this right attitude, Prabhu's Mataji's, we will have a gratitude, an attitude of gratitude. We won't take it for granted. Full of enthusiasm. I'll want to do it. I'll look forward to doing it. You really know you're making progress is when you finish your quota, whatever your quota be, 1 round or 16 rounds, doesn't matter. Incidentally, those who have taken the vow initiated, they say, I will chant at least minimum, at least 16 rounds. And we are so happy when the 16th round is done. Japamala is down. Relief, a sense of relief is there. I've met my obligation. I promised Guru Maharaj, I'll do at least 16 rounds. I've done. But do you know something? We all drive, correct? And there are speed limits posted, 65 miles per hour. What do? We don't look at the limit. We go above the limit. So why not that same attitude while doing japa? Why not do 17 rounds? Why not do 21 rounds? Why not do 25 rounds? So when we have the right attitude and we look upon it as an opportunity, we'll be having a lot of gratitude. That enthusiasm comes and the enthusiasm makes us want to do it. And when we put the bead back down, there will be grief, not relief. Oh, I have other things to do. That is also important. I have to do that. I want to do it. Hare Krishna. And when you have all this, you willingly do it, not grudgingly. So you understood, dear devotees, how japa starts with the intention, your attitude, and these are the choices that we make. And when you keep doing it every day with every mantra pulling the mind back, it becomes a habit and it'll just become natural. Doing japa becomes uh, it becomes a favorable task rather than you're carrying a big load of 16 rounds, 1 hour, 48 minutes, or whatever it takes between 7 to 8 minutes if you do it properly, the japa. So whatever is that time, at least that much time, 16 rounds is what we have to do. So as a compulsion, you see this child's face, it's like in a state of shock or as an opportunity. That's our choice we have. And Prabhupada said, you don't feel enthusiastic, act enthusiastic. You will become enthusiastic. So that's how we should approach japa, Hare Krishna. And Bhagavad Gita says this, right? Whoever conquers the mind, it's the best. It's a very powerful force, the mind. Very powerful, Hare Krishna. So uh, there are these two method of attention when we did intention, now we come to attention. The first picture you see that this young girl, she's driving and she's looking at her text messages. Where is the attention? It's not on the road. What's going to happen? The chances of crashing and uh, causing harm to herself and others exponentially increases. So same way, attention matters. And the second picture you see in a prayerful mood, in a meditative mood, in an attentive mood is what we do. How the mind focuses on japa is attention. Now, one way is distraction, correct? Now, distraction is because our mind is all the time is chasing things. It's all the time running here and there, the mind. So there are so many distractions. So when you sit for japa, either it'll get distracted by, it could go way back to your childhood. It could go to office, it could go to something, whatever be the case. The mind just spirals, goes in a tailspin. Sound is coming out, Hare Krishna, whatever. Sounds are coming out, but the mind is somewhere else. Now, the distraction can be internal. Hare Krishna. Okay. Your memories of the past, whatever's happening in your present time, plans for the future. Oh, I have to make this report. I have to give it by next Monday. What all am I going to include in it? You know what? All that, whatever plans we have for the future. Urges of the body. Suddenly you'll feel like scratching or you want to visit the bathroom. All these things happen, correct? With distraction, or it could be external. We have our senses, 5 senses. Any stimuli which comes over there could be a source of distraction. And the other is when we are in a mood of devotion, in a prayerful mood, meditative mood, there is alignment of the mind, senses, and our actions, what we're doing. It's completely aligned. Everything is focused. The mind is focused. The tongue is chanting. The fingers are twirling the beads. Everything is in alignment, correct? And, it's done with a lot of care, love, respect, and thoughtfulness. Currently, we're extremely, imagine the deity in the altar, correct? The temple, it's no different than Krishna himself. We don't think so. Intellectually, we can understand it, but we actually do not, we don't really know it. We don't have any realization that the deity is actually Swayam Bhagwan Krishna himself, right? But imagine, even with whatever little knowledge that we have of the deity, imagine just doing some nonsensical thing with the deity. How disrespectful that would be. That's what we do with japa. That's what we do with japa. So when the attention, if we get in a prayerful mood, this is what happens. There's alignment and care. If not, it is all what you say. Adhikesha Prabhu has said, anyway, you're going to spend time doing japa. Why not do proper japa? You have to spend time anyway, whatever, whether you do 10 minutes a day or whether you do 2 hours a day. You are going to do japa. Why not do it properly? Hare Krishna. Pronunciation. This is a big one, pronunciation. Yeah. There is a convenient way of doing the japa. And all of us, we always take the path of least resistance, the convenient way. What is the convenient way, Prabhu's Matajis? Is, oh, I have so many things to do now. I've taken a vow, chalo, isko bhi kar de. Kaise bhi, let us finish doing it. So I'm always hard pressed for time, so many other things to do. But if you actually examine what are the other things to do, the other things will finally come down to I, me, myself, mine. No time to do, right? Therefore, when I am hard pressed for time, I'm in a hurry to complete my quota. When I'm in a hurry to complete my quota, my mind is going running here and there on other things. We spoke about that distraction, right? When that happens, the mind dashes, words dash into each other. We do not pronounce it properly. It sounds, in our mind, we think we are doing the Maha Mantra, but as I said, record it. You see what it is. It's something else altogether, right? No effect except relief. Thank God, quota is over. That's the convenient way. And what it sounds like is, that's how it comes across. Chandramouli Maharaj in one of the Bhakti Vriksha had given a nice little humorous thing. So there's this guy used to do japa very, religiously. He never missed his quota. He never carried forward to the next day. There is this thing. Oh, today I can't do 16 rounds. So let me carry forward. Let me carry forward. So today I was only able to do 12. Tomorrow I'll do 20. But tomorrow I did 16, so I still have carry forward. Then, the numbers keep increasing. It keeps increasing. Carry forward. That is a very convenient way. So Maharaj was saying there's this person who never carried forward, but he was chanting, So at the time of death, he remembered that, oh, whatever is your thoughts at the time of death, that's the type of body and destination you get. So he said, ah, I have to chant. So, I mean, he was fortunate. He came to know his time of death. So he, started chanting. And then he saw two weird looking characters. They came in front of him, frightful. And he got a shock. He shrieked. He said, who are you? I'm expecting Vishnu Dutas. You are absolutely not Vishnu Dutas from whatever is the descriptions given in the scriptures. Who are you? So they introduced themselves. I'm Kish 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 Om Om Om. You get it? So this is what pronunciation does. We think we are chanting the Maha Mantra, but something else is coming out. And then there is the right way. So we have this choice, convenient way or the right way. Convenient way is there's no rush. Japa is the only thing I'm going to be doing. Japa time is for japa time alone, nothing else. Nothing else. Doesn't matter work, doesn't matter uh, food. Whatever is that japa time is exclusive. It's an exclusive activity. Yeah. Mind is focused on hearing the Mahamantra, chanting and hearing. Each syllable is distinct. What happens when we do this? Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleaning the consciousness. Hare Krishna. And how do we chant? Can someone please chant the Mahamantra?
I
Hare
can.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Yes. So we heard it, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What will happen? Oh, this is taking me at least 7 to 8 seconds to say that. 7 to 8 seconds multiplied by 108 multiplied by 16. My God, I don't have that much time. Okay, so let's do this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. That's what happens. That's what happens. So if we do it the right way, and remember, it started with that intention all the way back. So if we have the right attitude, think what Ramapad Maharaj's instruction, why are we doing it? Bring some meaning to it. Then this right way is doable. Hare Krishna. Then we come to absorption. So we are either absorbed in material pursuits or spiritual pursuits. There are these two things. And for someone who is in Krishna consciousness, there is one leg in the material boat and the other leg in spiritual boat. Now, the problem is, both the boats are going in different direction and only that much that we can stretch. So Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, sense gratification and Krishna consciousness go ill together. They do not mix well at all. So what we have to do is, whatever are the material pursuits, we have to use the principle of Yukta Vairagya and dovetail that to Krishna consciousness, so that every thought, word, and deed of ours, for which we have all these other practices, which is coming there. You understood this, dear devotees? At the start, the first slide that we saw, there are these 10 processes, right? Under sadhana. Japa is the most important one. Everything else is, you can look at it as pillars so that we can. Maharaj was asked that, what is the need for deity worship? What is the need to read all the Shastras? Why read, why listen to lectures? Why? Japa is there so that we can chant properly. All these things we do is so that we can come to that pure stage of chanting Hare Krishna. Then, of course, putting whatever we know into practice. Practice requires a will to do it. So, tomorrow is Kartik. Very auspicious, very powerful. Get it? Whatever spiritual practices we do in the certain time period, You get it? The intensity and the effect is exponential. So, okay, if you're chanting 6 rounds a day, if you're chanting 16 rounds, take a vow that I will do 17 rounds a day. I will do 7 rounds a day, right? Do that. Do go out of the comfort zone. I will chant properly. I will chant at least 2 rounds. I'll make my intention is not to finish rounds, but at least 2 rounds I will endeavor to do it with good quality. So when we put this, practice requires will, it requires skills, discipline. Of course, there's nothing works without discipline. It's self-explanatory. And perseverance. Yes, there may be 1 step forward, 2 step backward, but keep moving, keep moving. That's perseverance, right? So what happens is through practice comes perfection. Through practice comes perfection. So this is why doing all what we learn to put it into practice. And in case of japa, as Prabhupada said, it shouldn't be a license that, yeah, Prabhupada says, offensive chanting, at least I'm chanting, I'm finishing my rounds. No, that's the wrong attitude. You'll be stuck over there only. How many lifetimes you'll get? And how do we know what lifetime? It'll be a sense of arrogance to think that, oh, I may get, I am guaranteed. I've been chanting, so I'm guaranteed next life I'll get a human birth, or I'll be born in a very rich family, or I'll be born in a devotee family. That's being very, very arrogant. It is basically looking at whatever the truth, reality, the scriptures and the acharyas say, and retrofitting it to our convenience to suit our purpose. So we should be very um, grateful that we have this opportunity and make the most of it. Who knows what is going to happen the next second? We don't know. So make the most of this and put things into practice. Hare Krishna. So what you have learned, the 9 stages of Bhakti Yoga, japa is the foundation. When one is accustomed to inoffensive chanting, he gets prema. Think about it. The perfected stage of a human being. In this body, which is blood, pus, stool, and urine, in this body, material body, you can get prema. That's what japa is. Hare Krishna. So, what japa will do is it brings about the realization of our relationship with Krishna. Hare Krishna. This is typical what happens in japa. You sit down for japa. Yeah, there's a tug of war between mind control and mind out of control. So what the mind does is thinking, feeling, willing, acting. Either we can choose to discipline it or let it remain as is. You see this all chaotic. So many things are coming in. And finally, these are some best practices which Vaishnavas have advised how to do it. Get up early. So take a small little vow. Tomorrow is, okay, I get up at 6 o'clock. I'll get up at 5:30. I'll chant 1 round extra. So getting up early it's the sattvic. So it's conducive. The mind is still not agitated. Bathing, though it's not required to get up early and you could be chanting even in the middle of the night. You could be chanting in the afternoon. You could chant anytime, doesn't matter. But we are looking to get to pure chanting. So all these are the practices to get from offensive stage to the inoffensive, pure chanting. Bathing removes, all these phones, gadgets, we are so accustomed. You go to a railway station or any public place, people on the platform, people sitting in railway station, in railway cars, okay, their head is down like this. Everyone is like this, looking into the phone, either time pass or some nonsense social media or work related. That's it. So this phone, just keep it away, right? So these are the best practices that we can implement to improve the quality of our japa. Hare Krishna. Anyone has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One question, actually. As we are Grihastha Ashrama, so what are all the material things we need to attach? And what are all the material things we need to detach as a Grihastha? Can you please explain, Prabhu?
For Grahastha, there is a little bit of flexibility because Grahastha ashram is one of the most difficult ashram. And actually, Grahastha ashram is what supports all the other three ashrams. And as such, there is a little bit of flexibility given. The flexibility is because we have so much added responsibility. Now, what does the Grahastha do? The Grahastha is mainly involved in a livelihood. Whatever be, you could be a software engineer or you could be a farmer, but there is some livelihood that we're doing over there. So it doesn't mean Krishna conscious doesn't mean that you give up whatever you're doing. Continue whatever is your ashram, continue doing your duty, whatever you are doing it. But just detach yourself from the fruits of whatever we're doing. So if at all there is money that we are earning, with that money, it could either be used for sense gratification of I, me, myself, mine, or it could be dovetailed into spiritual pursuits. Now, what does it mean? Do you give all your money, donate all your money to the temple? No, that doesn't mean spiritual pursuits. It's your consciousness. If you look at yourself not as the proprietor of your family, you know, look at yourself as the caretaker of your family. This is Krishna's family, and it is my responsibility. If you have the consciousness that this is Krishna's family, then when you buy a birthday frock for your daughter, that's not sense gratification because she is Krishna's child and I'm doing it with that consciousness. Then whatever activity you do from becoming karma or vikarma, that becomes a karma, that becomes seva. So for grhasti, it is a matter of consciousness. And that's the principle of Yukta Vairagya. So always be thinking how I could be bringing Krishna in the center. So every act that we engage in, who is the beneficiary? You could do the act of lighting a matchstick, Prabhu. The matchstick could be used to smoke a cigarette, which will give me the nicotine rush. And it is my senses will feel gratified, and for a short while I'll get that rush. But with that same matchstick, I could light and diya and offer it to Damodar Ashtakam. The act is the same, lighting a matchstick. But what is the intent? Who's the beneficiary? For whom am I doing it? So for a grasta, of course, now there are certain things where we need to discipline. As we spoke earlier, discipline comes. So there are certain regulations that we have. You lead a regulated lifestyle. These regulative principles you're familiar with. No meat eating, no gambling, because all these things are agitating the mind. It's further trapping us into this self-centeredness. So you have these regulative principles. Start associating with devotees. Physically associate with devotees in satsang. Temple, make it a point that I will visit the temple. Sunday programs are there, no matter what. I will do my best to go to Sunday. It's not that it's very cold, so I'll go next Sunday. I'm feeling bored, or oh, last time they didn't treat me properly, so I'm not going over there. With devotees, avoid a satsang. People who are too engrossed in sense gratification, because whatever is your association, that's what you become. So reading is this knowledge. Again, what Romapad Maharaj says, we do all this thing so that we'll know how to serve better. We know how to do japa better. So devotional seva, and actually everything is seva if you have the right consciousness. But in this case, devotional seva, Prabhuji, is do a specific activity for promoting the spiritual awakening of the masses. So if you're associated with a temple, book distribution, you could go for Sunday cooking, something specific. Austerity. Austerity is so important. Prabhupada says austerity is the willing willingness to the voluntary acceptance, the voluntary, please understand the word voluntary acceptance of a hardship for a higher goal. And we all have done austerities. All of us, there's no one who's not done. Austerity disciplines the mind. But at the same time, don't become so austere that we become hard-hearted. And then, of course, those who have taken Brahman initiation, you need to be chanting the Gayatri mantra. In addition to the Maha mantra, we chant the Gayatri mantra. Don't do time pass. There's this very popular thing. What you're doing? Oh, I'm whiling away time. Time pass, you know. Make proper use of time. So as a grasta, there are these things that we do. The attachments are very strong in grasta because we are conditioned. Doesn't mean you stop loving your wife and your child and your relatives. No. But please put it in the proper perspective of who they are. Then that exploitativeness will not come. I am your father, I am telling you, so you better listen. So like this, Prabhu, for a grasta, these are some what the acharyas and what our scriptures tell us how we should. And that's what the etiquette is all about. How to uh, behave like a Vaishnava.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. It's really amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So it is, I think, 8 o'clock, 8:02. If nobody has a question, we can take maybe one more question and bring it to...
One more question. Hare Krishna. Very nice. You have explained very well. So understand, but sometimes when we do japa in the morning, our hands are moving, our mouth is speaking, our ears are hearing, but still mind thinks something else. And I tell mind, stop it, it's a Krishna's time, but sometimes it doesn't, I cannot still control.
Correct. Mataji, when did you join Hare Krishna and started doing japa?
Almost about 1 year and couple of months.
1 year and couple of months. And at least in this lifetime, that 1 year would be just a fraction of the number of decades you have lived. Like, I don't know your age and I don't even want to ask what your age is. But if your age is X, and since 1 year you've been doing it, almost 99% of the time, you are doing something else and not japa. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we are accustomed, our mind is accustomed not just in this lifetime, but for millions and billions of lifetime, we have been self-centered.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to happen overnight. And the examples what they give is like a fan. So all these indulgence, the mind keeps telling us things, the mind says jump. And the only question we'll look at the mind and say is how high? We won't ask the mind why. Why should I be jumping? We don't question the mind. We are slaves to our mind. We are slave to our desire. So all these things are the electricity, the power which is making the fan. And the mind is spinning. The mind is the fan. It's spinning. This desire, that desire. But when we start doing japa, it is like pulling the plug out. Now, will the fan immediately stop? No. It will slowly come to a standstill. So that's what our situation is, Mataji. We listen to all the pravachan. We try to put it into practice. But still, it sometimes feels like a losing battle. But we should have the faith and the confidence. What Prabhupada said, what Acharya say, what Krishna says, that yes, I am in a totally contaminated state. I have no control over my mind. Beg for the mercy. Before sitting down for japa, pray to Guru and Krishna, pray to Gauranga, pray to Radha Rani. Please help me. I cannot do anything. I'm helpless. Prabhupada says we should chant the japa like how a child cries out for its mother. When a child is crying, an infant is crying, what is the intensity with which he or she cries? How the mother responds? And there are times when the child is just crying to get attention. And the mother, just by hearing the sound only, can make out how serious that child is. So we are accustomed, Mataji. We are creatures of our habit, materially conditioned, but still have that determination. The mind is running, Mataji. You know, when the cars were first invented, the motor car, and they used to have a person running in front of the car to make the people move away because the car is coming. People were accustomed to horses and horse carriage. Now suddenly you have a motorized vehicle on the road. So there used to be, like, one servant. He would run ahead and tell, "Oh, Bajato, move, 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 move." So this is how we are. We are like that servant. The mind is running here and there, and we are clearing the way for it. So I was talking with Rakshat Prabhu earlier this evening. The mind is like a horse. Horse has so much energy. But if you don't have the lagam, the reins, if you don't have the rein, the horse will just go crazy running here and there. So the expert horseman knows that reins which you have. So discipline and self-control and austerity is putting the reins on that wild horse. But if you pull too much, even then the horse will go crazy. So you should know when to let it loose and when to pull it in, when to make it turn right, when to turn left, which is why all these things are so important. Reading, knowledge, associating, revealing our heart to someone whom we trust, questions, answers. That's how we understand. And then when we put it, oh, yeah, this is how it is. So very simple, that best practices. Record yourself chanting and play it back and see what it sounds like. And don't record it for one or two mantra. We'll say it very properly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Right.
Do the entire 16 rounds and see what it sounds like.
Nicely, and then when you don't, it becomes.
So this is what our situation is, Mataji.
I increase my volume, japa's volume, so that way to shut up my mind.
Correct. That's why Prabhupada said chant aloud. Japa can be done in three ways. One is chanting aloud, the other is softly, very, very soft. And the third is manasik, in the mind. But we are not at that stage. Impossible. With our conditioning, the soft japa and the mind japa doesn't work. It has to be aloud. Because when we are saying it aloud, we can hear. There are some devotees who put a finger in the ear and it's like an echo chamber. So like this, the idea is Krishna sees our intensity. Krishna sees our intent and he reciprocates accordingly. You have the intent, yes, you have the intention of finishing your round. Krishna will arrange for it that you finish your rounds. You have the intention, I'll chant at least 2 rounds, I'll try. Please help me. He will make the provisions for you. Yes, I will slip, I will fall, I will trip. Idea is to keep moving. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Oh,
Very good, sir.
small question, Prabhuji, if okay.
Yeah, Mataji.
So it's related to previous question and discussion on that. So what would you suggest as a senior devotee, like when we are chanting, we should close our eyes or keep them open? Even like Nehru Mataji, I'm also finding it difficult to focus my mind. It goes everywhere in the world, and some unpleasant thoughts
Yeah.
come, like I lost my son 7 months back, so those thoughts come back and I start crying in the middle of the japa. So what should we do? Once I close my eyes, it is even difficult for me to control my tears. So should I keep my eyes open if I keep my eyes open, then where should I be looking at?
Yeah.
Like what is a good way to train myself or my mind?
It will come through practice, Mataji, and then for each person, there is something which will work. But the principle is, Mataji, that we should focus our attention, like you rightly said. I can't focus. Um, you know, getting focus, paying attention to japa is not easy given our conditioning, but it's not impossible. It is possible. When my Guru Maharaj was giving initiation, so you take the vows, right? Gurudev, I promise to chant 16 rounds. That's what you make a promise to your Gurudev and all the assembled Vaishnavas and the fire and in presence of the deities. You make this vow. I promised to chant 16 rounds. So this young man, with a lot of enthusiasm, he said, Gurudev, I promised to chant 16 attentive rounds every day, like with a lot of enthusiasm. And Guru Maharaj loudly chanted, Hari Bol, and he started laughing. He says, in that case, you should be my Guru. Rather than me giving you Diksha, if you can chant 16 rounds attentive every day, you should be my Guru. But what it means, the lesson that we can learn from this is attentive chanting is no ordinary thing. It's no ordinary thing. However, it is possible. So, how do you do it? Now, you say that, of course, you had a tragic incident in your life very recently. So, naturally, the mind will drift towards that when we're chanting. And when you close your eyes, all that images may be playing in your mind. So, there are certain ways to do it. In one class, I heard for japa, some people they say with the eyes closed, they're able to concentrate more on listening to the sound vibration. Now, in your case, if you close your eyes and it's taking you away from focusing on the sound vibration, then you may look at a picture of a deity. Look at the picture of a deity. Keep the picture of a deity, or maybe in presence of Tulsi Maharani, or if you have, I don't know if you have a altar at home, if you have deities at home, or if you have a picture, look at that. And it'll gradually, it's not that you're supposed to be looking at it because that can also become a distraction, but at least it'll bring you to a certain stage, Mataji. So the way to do it is the whole purpose, the goal is to listen to the sound vibration. And sometimes we need aids. Some people put the finger in the ear. Some people even cover. I've seen people wear that. When you go on the aircraft, they give you that thing. No, what is it called? Your eye patch, or not eye patch. You wear that thing so that they won't get distracted by looking here and there. And they try to focus. Then in company, chanting, we used to do that. Uh, I don't know if Satyabhama Mataji is on the call. Yes, she is. So devotees would get up early morning and chant together. Um, so that also helps. Nirumata was saying she chants aloud because that quietens the noise inside that is going on. So, Mataji, these are different techniques. And if you close your eyes and it is being distractive for you, then please look at the uh, picture or the deity. And we learned, how to take darshan of the deity from bottom up we go.
Yes.
We are accustomed to look straight at the face. So
Mm.
go bottom up and gradually go, and then, bring the mind to chanting. And
Thank you, Prabhuji. And is it okay, Prabhuji, to take like a break between, say, we do 4 rounds and then I take a break of 5 minutes or something, and then again, is that a good practice or a bad practice?
Mataji, the thing is, we look at first as practice, then gradually we come to the best practice, correct? So between practice and best practices, there are many stages. So right now, we are not accustomed. We are not accustomed to sitting in one place for 2 hours and chanting properly. We may be physically even sitting in one place, but the mind is running here and there. So some people find it, they get up and they walk, and walking helps them concentrate better while doing the chanting. And also, what happens sometimes while sitting, especially early morning hours, we tend to drift off to sleep. So walking keeps you a little alert. So what you can do is that if you are not used to it, it's something like uh, quite some time back, Mataji, I ran the marathon, and I was very heavyweight. I was 200 and almost 250 pounds. I was huge, and I had some health complications, and then I said I have to lose weight. So I started practicing. I couldn't even run. I couldn't even run half a mile. I would go out of breath, my knees would ache and all. But gradually, step by step, under the guidance of marathon runners, how to go about doing it, gradually build up stamina and, then run the marathon. So I was able to do half marathon twice. Uh, so looking at this, na Mataji, same way with a japa. So suppose you've taken a vow. The first thing is commitment. Whether you take commitment of 1 round or whether you take commitment of 16 rounds, doesn't matter. Commitment is most important. Otherwise, it becomes doable if able. After commitment comes consistency. When you make a commitment, then you say, yes, I will chant 4 rounds no matter what happens. This is priority for me. Now, suppose if you say you're going to be doing, I don't know how many rounds you do, but if you're doing 16 rounds, and then you feel that after 4 rounds, it gets physically exhausting and it gets mentally tiring, then break it up because we do not have that stamina to pull through. But do not let those breaks, um, divert you away from doing the japa. Oh, okay, now I have to do this. I'll get back to it, or something more urgent came out and I'll do it in the night, or oh, I couldn't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. Let that not become the excuse. If you're doing fitness training, there's something called interval intensity. So they give high intensity for a certain period of time, and then there is a low intensity where you recoup. Then again, it goes to high, and then again, it comes to low. So if you need to take a break in between, if you can't do your full 16 rounds, okay, practice it. But the best is to finish all 16 rounds in one go, which requires us to get up early in the morning. If you get up at 4:30, then by 6:30 you're done with your japa. And it's not hanging like a sword on the head. I have to finish my rounds. I have to finish the round. But to get up in the morning, I have to sleep early. To sleep early means I have to give up my Netflix. So all these things, everything helps in getting up. And then gradually we take, how do you say, take small measured steps rather than spurts of this. Don't burn yourself out. So first is the commitment, then the consistency. Then Ramapad Maharaj said, try to increase your rounds. Kartik is a good month to take a sankalpa. And why Kartik? Suppose you're chanting 4 rounds. You say, I will do 5 rounds in Kartik. It's okay. You'll do 5 rounds in Kartik. Then why end it in Kartik ends? From tomorrow onwards, I'll make my 5 rounds. But again, be measured. Be measured. Gradually, it will happen, and Krishna reciprocates. All we need is a little bit of intention.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll pray for your son, Mataji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Very good, dear devotees. Thank you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Over to you, Sameshwar Prabhu. There are incidentally, each of these sections can be a class in itself. But since japa is the foundation, I spent a lot of time on japa. But Sameshwar Prabhu can decide. Maybe some other devotees tomorrow and in 3-4 classes can complete this. I think Prabhu must be busy with his, I know he does deity worship at home, pretty elaborate. So we'll bring this to a close. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Naman.
Vaishnavrinda ki jai,
Jai,
ki jai, Gaur
Jai,
ki jai, Nitai Gaur
Jai, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.